Hey, I'm Daniel Prin, and on this episode of the Filmcraziest Show, I was joined by Keith Strausbaugh and Anthony Guidubaldi, the writers and directors of the new mockumentary film Marathon. Their film follows a cast of colorful characters who are all training for an upcoming marathon in the Las Vegas desert called the Devil's Canyon Marathon. Some of these characters include one who wants to run in a banana suit to break a world record. The film is released on digital and on demand on July 6th, and some links to watch the film will be directly below. Here's Anthony to introduce the show.
Good. Hi, I'm Anthony Guidubaldi. I'm the co-writer, co-director of Marathon, and you're watching the Filmcraziest Show.
Hi, I'm Keith Strausbaugh, and I'm the co-writer and co-director of Marathon, and you're watching the Filmcraziest Show.
Cool. It's awesome to have you guys to chat about your mockumentary Marathon.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel.
I'd love to start with just asking, have you guys ever ran a marathon?
No. Keith's the runner out of the two.
No, I jog just to stay fit and, maintain a regular exercise regimen. But I ran cross country in high school. I was the MVP and cross country captain for 2 years, completely against my will and better judgment. My mom was a PE teacher and she was friends with the cross country coach. So together they roped me into doing it. And then every excuse I came up with, they had a rebuttal, like I don't have shoes. So the cross country coach bought me shoes, but I felt like a prisoner, in running gear, running shoes, running against my will. I was just doing it to get in shape for basketball. So I would refuse to wear the running shorts. I wanted to wear basketball shorts. But these runners are nuts. I mean, it's a culture and a community that's perfect for parody or satire, because they take themselves so serious and their identity it's just consumed with running. It dictates the food they eat, the clothes they wear, the people they associate with, the running clubs, the running groups. I mean, it feels like it just dominates their lifestyle. So it was the perfect culture community to poke fun of.
And why'd you want to make it other than revenge on your school teacher?
Well, we had done well in a number of screenwriting competitions or contests. When I moved to LA, everyone said, all right, you got to do two things. You got to do well on the Blacklist website, and then you have to do well at Austin. Austin is the Writers Festival. And we did both of those things. We were finalists at Austin with 2 different scripts, a pilot and a feature. That was in 2013 and 2014. One of those, then at 2 different times, we had the top ranked comedy on the Blacklist website. And then in 2017, we won Stage 32's comedy contest with an underdog. My summer gig back when I was growing up was working at my uncle's ramshackle jet ski rental business. So we had this Caddyshack, Out Cold, dodgeball type of 80s throwback, but you have jet skis flying off of ramps, a lot of water. No one was going to give us $60 million to go make this film. And so we were tired of writing scripts that would possibly end up in a pile next to your desk. And you're like, oh yeah, it's a really great script, but no one's going to cut these $1 million checks. So we transitioned, and I would say the Duplass brothers had a keynote speech at South by with the thesis or the premise, just go shoot stuff, just go shoot it. And as long as you like the process, and you at least end up with a product at the end that you've made with your filmmaking friends. And we bought into that. We're like, all right, let's pick a project, and the mockumentary style lent itself perfect to low budget filmmaking, and it allowed us to do what we do best. I mean, we have a lot of limitations as filmmakers, but for the most part, we can handle jokes, story, and character. And that lines up well with mockumentary.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Now, how long? What was it like developing these characters, and how fun was that?
Anthony, you want to?
Yeah, we had a huge list, right? We had like a 32-page Google Doc of like the craziest characters that we can possibly think of. The banana one was like, just visually, we thought that was one of the funniest ones. I think, Keith, weren't you reading like an article, right? And it was a real thing. Like someone was actually trying to beat the world record.
Yeah, it was a runner's magazine. I had purchased a bunch of magazines or signed up for all these subscriptions just to, cut out things for wardrobe or the lookbook, the style, just visual aids for the DPs and the cast and crew, just to get a sense of, and just to get, an idea And then there was an article about, these runners who were trying to break up, they couldn't break real records, right? But I guess they wanted to feel good about themselves. So they would try to break records like fastest marathon dressed in a business suit, but one of them was fast. There really is a record for this. And we used the woman's name. I think we might have changed it. It was either Victoria King or Elizabeth King. She was out of the UK, and she held the record for the fastest marathon time dressed as a fruit. And so in the coda moments, I think we kill her off, and we switch it to strawberry. So our apologies to Elizabeth King or Victoria King. She's a real person, and we murder her in a strawberry costume at the end.
I was shocked at that line. Now she's a vegetable. I was like, oh my god, they went there.
Another funny story was actually Abby's character, the one character that everyone really resonates with. We actually tried to cast her as Jenna the banana. She said, no, I don't want anything to do with you guys. Well, like 2 weeks later, she's like, you know what? Yeah, I went back in, but we already cast the role. So she's the one that actually worked with us. It was completely her character. She just had a newborn, Ori a newborn, and that was her character. She basically, Keith, go ahead.
Well, no, I was just gonna say, after she declined the Jenna role, we still wanted to work with her, and we told her, we were like, look, we think you're one of the funniest people in Las Vegas. We'll do anything to work with you. We'll write you a new character. We don't care, like, whatever you want to do, we're on board. Just, we want to work with you in this film. And so that's what happened. We met with her a few times, and a lot of those stories, Miles, or her son is named Ori, but Ori for a stretch wasn't calling her mama. So that's right out of her life. The exhaustion's right out of her life. A lot of those moments were drawn from her personal experiences.
Now, talking about the banana suit, if you guys could run a marathon in any fruit, which suit would you pick? Which banana or which fruit suit, I guess, would you pick?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, first of all, it's just such a dumb idea. I don't know. I'm just trying to imagine someone actually training in a banana or any kind of costume with all the chafing. It was so, and that's another thing, we felt so bad for our actors, because it really, we're shooting in Las Vegas. We're putting them in banana costumes. It's like 100 degrees. It's like, I can't see people actually doing this, but I would have to think about like the least weight resistant fruits.
That's funny. You're not even going, what's the funny? You're actually thinking about.
I'm trying to think of what's the most practical. Yeah, if you're going to
logical mind.
You wouldn't last more than Anthony wouldn't last more than a mile, 1.3 mile, over under. So I don't know why he's thinking this is gonna take 26 miles. He would collapse.
That's very true.
Fake heat exhaustion and just lay there. He would rather lay on the ground until someone carried him off the course rather than compete. He would just, it would be a prone whatever.
It would be a biodegradable apple, basically, on the side of the road.
Anthony, are you why there's an anti-marathoner in the film?
Yeah, that's so funny, because Emma Lou really is, I feel like that's who I am, because I would have the same exact reaction. But that's something I would do, is sign up for a marathon. Be like, wait, it's 26 miles? But yeah, I honestly don't. I hate running so much. What I do is I play sports, so I could try to like trick myself into actually getting exercise. I'm not actually thinking about like, oh, I'm actually running. But yeah, getting on a treadmill, like he said, like I wouldn't last 5 minutes.
The weight set is a prop he bought for this Zoom interview. That doesn't, never seen him.
That's never been.
I have never seen him on any sort of exercise equipment in my entire life, but I love that that's the backdrop for this.
Like, okay, what room
for the next one?
What room makes me look the best here?
Right.
What background? That's awesome. Now, when you guys were filming I'm really staying on these bananas, but when you guys were filming, like, did you guys get any weird looks with the banana suits?
That's a good question. We really just had our our crew, basically. I mean, we got lucky with the track, right, Keith? Like the track, we were basically just us.
Maybe in the part where we did all the
montage.
Love montage and the duck, which was odd that we didn't get more.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because there wasn't really an instant. I was like, hey, what are you guys doing?
2 bananas. I mean, you have you are walking around with a crew, you know, and as long, for the most part, as long as you look like you know what you're doing and, you know, you're not getting in anyone's way, people just let you go about your business and film two bananas. But I was surprised that we didn't get any strange looks.
Like a banana sex scene in a car. No one gave us a second look. I mean, there's a lot of traffic going by.
I mean, it is Vegas, so they've probably seen weirder.
Right. Very true.
I love the detail. Like I love the detail in the one scene when Ben is getting the check, and I was looking in the background and I saw like a banana in the car.
Oh, right.
And I was thinking, okay, is that a goof? Because like I was like, is that someone actually like reading their lines and they just didn't notice? And then I was like, stand-in. That's really funny.
I'm glad you caught that. That's awesome.
We changed that too. We introduced the understudy earlier in an earlier cut. The understudy is introduced in the second act, early second act, I think. And they're both living out of Ben Duffy's car together, which we thought was funny. And we have some funny scenes, but then we ultimately cut it because we figured the understudy reveal would be stronger in the on race day.
Okay. Now is he kind of one character that had like a bigger role, but you kind of had to cut it down for time? Or like, are there any other characters that you had to cut out completely because they just weren't really working?
In the pre-production phase, I mean, like Anthony talked about, once Anais Tomasian, that she plays the mother, Abby Dozier. The heartbreaking part about her coming on board was that one of our friends was already set to play Spencer DeWeese, who played one of the cops. He was set to play Van Stone, a completely other character that we had to ditch in pre-production. But Van's premise was he's addicted or was addicted to everything. And it was drugs, alcohol, even weird stuff like the liquid inside of Magic 8 balls, I think it was. Like, it just weird. He was addicted to everything. So he was replacing his addictions with now a running addiction. And now he would show up to AA meetings and try to relate. You know, he's talking about like his running addiction surrounded by actual addicts. But it was a great character. We still have the script, but no, we had to break it to him. So we did it in person. He's also a bartender in Las Vegas. So we went to his bar and ordered a drink and like, all right, Spencer, we have some bad news. But we promised to get him in the film in as many other ways as possible.
Okay, that sounds like a fun character. So that must have been kind of heartbreaking to cut that out a little bit, eh?
Yeah, we'll keep it for part 2.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what was the other one, Anthony? We had Connor Rhodes.
Connor, we weren't sure if he murdered his mother. It was an Irish mom, right? And we never see her. Every time they have a conversation, she's behind a door. So it was kind of like that psycho, like we don't know if he's. Yeah, we ended up cutting that character though.
Yeah, okay. we couldn't find someone to do a believable.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, the Irish accent.
Now, I'd love to ask about the scenes where Sharif gets chased by the cops. Like, I'm just imagining you guys like on one day going location to location, having the cops chase him. So like, how long did it take to film those scenes? Is that kind of what you did?
It actually limited us. We wanted to do a lot more, but we had one day, right? Like the cop day with the uniforms. And the problem is, well, as soon as we went outside, the first scenes we did were in a neighborhood, and we purposely picked a tucked away road at a friend's house. So we knew we had a little bit of leeway back there, but as soon as we went in public, we were doomed. People, like, one, we didn't have permits. Now you have cops. I guess we could have been, charged or arrested for impersonating officers. We have weapons that aren't, or fake prop guns, but no one knows that. Yeah, I remember we filmed the first scene and we just hear someone across the fence yelling like I think it was the dumpster scene, but I'm calling the cops, and we're like, all right, well, we got to move. So we did tell the DPs, and everyone knew that, all right, if the cops do show up, we're going to continue rolling. So that was always.
So we did have signs too that said filming in progress, but I mean, it's
okay.
No one's gonna pay attention to that.
Right. We were trying, and then we went to a park, and then kind of disappeared into the park. So no, we wanted to do a lot more with the outdoor stuff, but we didn't think it was, intelligent to risk the entire production. We actually got when the cops actually did show up was, of course, when we're in the rich person neighborhood. We're doing the Abby Dozier scenes where she's just running and doing the fake war. I think it was the gun, like where we act like
in the bushes.
she's going stir crazy, and it's like Platoon but that's when the cops showed up. We were down the street and they rolled up to our production, and Caitlin Young, our makeup artist, did a good job of, the trick in Vegas is just to carry your UNLV Rebel card. Even after you graduate, people will still hold on to these for 10 years and then wear a UNLV t-shirt. And you always just say, it's for a school project, or it's for a school shoot. And then they're like, okay, well, wrap it up in an hour or whatever and go. So that was our plan. But it was funny that the cops actually did show up when we were messing around with Abby in the upper class neighborhood.
Okay. Now, legally, you guys have permits. Like, for anyone listening, legally.
Oh, sure, yeah.
100%, yeah.
We'll fax those right over.
I'd clap right on that.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the banter between Ryan and Jeff, the camera guy. So, did one of you guys voice Jeff, or who was that playing Jeff?
Yeah, that's Keith.
Yeah, I voiced Jeff. Which was also difficult because a lot of my interaction with Ryan O'Brien or Andrew Hansen, the actor plays him, and then also with Jimmy Slonina too, who plays Ed Clapp. These are very funny improvisers. I don't have a background in acting. I hate being on camera. I don't like acting. So now I'm in close proximity, and I'm sure I ruined 2 or 3 takes because they're very funny. And not only I can bite my tongue and not laugh, but then I also have to deliver lines and communicate with. So that was tricky because they're both so funny and talented. But yeah, most of those lines were scripted though, with the camera, Jeff and then Ryan. And then we usually do, our rule was do 3 to 5 takes of how it's written on the page and then open it up. And if I did think of something on the fly, then I would throw. But I mean, he's much quicker than me at that stuff. I'm always one step behind because I'm also trying to watch his performance and talk to Anthony.
Yeah, you have so much going on. It's hard to do.
Yeah, I know I would have been laughing as going through the doggy door to get that angle.
Which that's a funny story. Keith, you want to tell how we came up with that shot?
Well, Daniel, so a lot of our locations, the interiors were Airbnbs. Okay. Right. And so you can only scout so much. Like you're just looking at pictures and then hoping the pictures match. But so then when you actually get to the Airbnb, so for example, Ryan O'Brien's house, we're setting down gear, and our AC, our assistant camera, Alfredo Montenegro, goes, "Oh, that's funny. There's a doggy door." And then as soon as he says that, like, oh man, this could be great. And so we knew later. So we basically tried to make room. We shot quick early to make room. And then knowing like, okay, the camera guy can get locked out, Jeff can come around, coming through the doggy door. So that was all on the fly, thanks to Alfredo, who came up or who pointed it out, and sometimes it's just being open to what the location or the actors or your crew. We had a skeleton crew, but it didn't matter where the idea came from. We're always, all ears for a good idea.
Okay, that's awesome. Now my last one, I just wanted to ask, how hot was it when you guys filmed the marathon? Because it's in the middle of the desert, and that's kind of wild.
Anthony?
Yeah, it was, I think in May, it got up to 102 when they were actually all in the banana costumes, or was that track day? I think it was over 100. And yeah, that day we did not need our makeup person very much for the sweat. But yeah, we did everything we could do, right? I mean, I remember Keith holding, you always had your clipboard in their face because just from the sun. I mean, okay. It was hot. And then we had to drag whenever we had to move locations, we would have to pick up all the gear and then move it to the other side of the track. It was exhausting.
But no long days. I don't, for the most part, we tried to keep cast and crew happy because we knew everyone was working for, everyone got paid, but below their normal rates. So I don't think, what did we have? Maybe we never went over 12 hours.
No.
I mean, it was usually
track day was probably the longest day that we had.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12 pages.
Yeah, and we also tried. For me and Anthony, our theory is, all right, no one's funny at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
It's impossible to be funny at 8 a.m. So and then you can reach a point, it's always diminishing returns as the production day goes along or progresses. So no, we tried to keep, for the most part, 10-hour days. We may have hit 11 or 12 once, but no absurd 14. So we wouldn't do that to our cast.
It's like 9 a.m. for you guys, right?
Yeah.
So that's the comedy. That's when you guys are able to be funny at like 9:20 in the morning.
He's in Pittsburgh, so he had a few hours. He's had a few hours on us.
Yeah,
sure.
I drove to the East Coast just for this interview to make sure I could, get a
Yeah,
few hours ahead to be funnier.
I'm on the East Coast too. I'm in Ottawa actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I'll let you guys go for the next one, but I would just love if you could plug when people can find the film, when they can watch it, where they can watch it.
Yeah, Keith, you want to plug us?
Yeah, sure. Well, you can check out the website too. It's marathoncomedy.com. The film premiered this week. It premiered July 6th. That was this Tuesday on all the VOD platforms. So check it out on Amazon, Vudu, Google Play, Fandango, YouTube, and iTunes, Apple TV.
It's called Marathon, by the way.
Is that part of the plug? Am I supposed to?
We got the website. Oh, awesome. Cool. So writers and directors Anthony Guidubaldi and Keith Strausbaugh, thank you for chatting with me about Marathon on the Filmcraziest Show.
All right, Daniel, thank you so much.
Cool.
Thank you, Daniel.